do you want me to begin?
So
you want me to
start,
talk about my journey?
Yeah. Say your journey and start with medical assisting and how you liked it and then your externships.
Okay. So I started medical assisting, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Already. And I was a little skeptical about getting into the medical field. So prior to that, I was taking classes at Assuntuck, thinking, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I thought, how great, I'll have the same hours as my son. And once I did a rotation at a school, I said, not for me. But I was always intrigued by the medical field. So I thought, okay, I'll try medical assisting and see how I like it. Nursing was always in the back of my mind. So I thought, well, be a good starter. So I did get in, obviously, and the professors that you have are amazing. All three of them are awesome. So I started medical assisting and loved it. My first rotation was at primary care, so you guys will be going to primary care. When do they go? In the spring, right?
Yep, May and June.
Okay, so we did that. I loved it. You're going to learn a lot in primary care. When I thought it was a great experience.
Tell them where you went.
I went to Riverbend in Agawam. It was fantastic. And yeah, like I said, you learn a lot there. And then for you guys are coming back, you can have an opportunity to go to another site. Which would be, that is what your choice, is it, what do you call the second one?
Well, you kind of ask, it's a specialty.
Specialty, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, so you can either go to a specialty of your choice. I have a very fondness of the GI system, so I was like, I want to go to somewhere with, GI. So they sent me to colorectal surgery,
which... I just want to say, does everybody know when she says GI, what she's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, gastroenterologist.
Okay. So I loved it. It was the most amazing experience. I worked with one of many of Bay State's finest surgeons. I worked with the general surgery as well. I was there for a couple weeks. So I worked with the chief of general surgery there and the chief of the Da Vinci machine, the Da Vinci surgery with the robotic. It's really neat. So I got to observe one of those surgeries, and the surgery was super neat. The patient had diverticulitis, and they removed the sigmoid colon. Do you know what the sigmoid colon is from anatomy classes?
It's going to be your intestines, right?
Yeah. So and then they fused the rectum to the colon. It was an amazing procedure to see a surgery. It was 4 hours. It was awesome. So I learned a great deal, and I really feel like that field is just something that I am very close to and passionate about. So I love it. So I learned a great deal doing the specialty. I loved it. But the primary care is like the basics, and you're going to learn all your basics there. So take tons of notes. I still look at my notes, my little notepads. I still look at them. So it's super helpful. The specialties was the best for me. I loved it. And now I was thinking, well, I'm done with medical assisting. I got a job. I worked, I'm not there now because nursing school, I'm taking time to just focus on that because that's a lot. But I worked at Bay State Noble in Westfield, and I worked with a general surgeon there, and I was his medical assistant. So,
and how that came to be?
What do you mean?
Well, he didn't just sought you out. A lot of these things because you were proactive.
Absolutely, you have to be proactive. You have to be an advocate for yourself always, obviously in a professional, respectful manner. I was looking for a job aggressively, and I think I must have applied to Noble, oh my gosh, so many times I don't even remember. Finally got a phone call back, and I had an interview that she hired me that same afternoon. She called me back and gave me a position, and the surgeon that I worked for, amazing. He does general surgery, he does a lot of laparoscopic surgeries. So when I was working for him, I was his MA, and I had said, hey, do you mind if I ever get into the OR with you? And he said, sure. So I'm like, okay. And I went to one, and I loved it. And I'm like, can I keep going? Because I have time on Wednesdays where I can observe you. And he said, absolutely. So every Wednesday, I went into the OR, and I observed whatever scheduled surgeries he had that day. Great deal of knowledge in there. I've learned so much. Even the circulating nurses in the OR took me under their wing a little bit because I told them at that point I had decided I'm going to apply for nursing. And they kind of showed me the ropes and, kind of talked to me, and it was amazing. And then I have that's just wonderful to have as in your background, put on your resume, So it was wonderful, and so I got into the nursing program, and
so
I
talk
recently.
about that process, how you get into the nursing program.
Okay. So there's a lot of the prerequisites you have to have done. So if you go on the website, it really gives you a whole list. There's a checklist for nursing. So you have to have all these certain prerequisites completed. Not necessarily have to have them all completed, but the more you have, the better opportunities you have of getting in, obviously. But there's quite a few nurses, actually, or certain student nurses that have a lot of classes, or not a lot, but a few that they have to still take. So if you want a guide, if you go on and look at the curriculum of the nursing program, it'll say, semester 2, lifespan development. So if you didn't take that, you have to have that finished before the second semester. That's an example of me. I have to take it in the winter session because that was the only course I hadn't taken, but you have to take it before that semester ends. So it's kind of a good guide to look at when you're checking out the curriculum, and you need your anatomies and your microbiology and math. I know micro. You can do it. You can get through it. You got it. So what else should I talk about?
So you applied, and how was that whole process?
So the process of applying, once you have all your prerequisites, you obviously have to go and apply. The form you have to fill out to apply, and then you have the waiting game.
TEAS test.
Oh, the TEAS. Oh, yes. Has anyone taken the TEAS before?
I heard. I was thinking about it, so I bought the book. And
Good.
I studied the book a little bit, but then I'm like, let me get into the medical field first. So that's
Yes.
why I backtracked.
It's usually just for
and did
nurses.
the
Step by
program
step.
first.
So tell her it's before you.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to take the TEAS prior to applying.
Yeah. that's
So,
what I
and
was
depending
thinking.
on where you go, if you go Massachusetts or Connecticut, the way that they scale the TEAS scores is a little bit different. I know Connecticut, you have to get a 55 or better, and it's cut and dry, your total score. Massachusetts, I believe, is a little bit different when it comes to the TEAS because it goes by each section that you have, and that's also on the website here as well. It'll tell you math, you need this percent, and science, you need this percent. That was the second time I took it. I had taken it a couple years ago because I wanted to see if I could get a better score, and I did, thankfully. But it's tough. It's hard. You have to be really strong in your anatomy. There's a lot of anatomy questions. There's a lot of math and a lot of reading. But reading comprehension, there's a lot of that. So yeah, you definitely have to get the TEAS done, and that has to be done prior to applying. So if that is something you have to get done. But yeah, get the book and study. That's what I did the second time around for sure. And it was very helpful. Very, very helpful. Yeah. Yep. What else do we need?
How much was it?
The TEAS test?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. I don't remember. 100 and something maybe? 100?
No, you took it. I didn't.
I don't remember.
Like
It
around
wasn't
100?
astronomical. Yeah, probably around there. It wasn't crazy amount, no. What else? Oh, your certification exam. You're going to have to take that. So honestly, don't stress over it. You're going to be fine. They teach you everything that you need to know. You're going to fly by it.
And will
It's
their
not going to
medical
be a big
assisting-
deal.
Will their medical assisting experience help them?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything that they teach you, honestly. And I have to say, especially if you're going into nursing here, you want to go here?
Yeah.
Taking these classes has helped me tremendously. So thus far, because they focus so much on the basics and the fundamentals, and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Maslow. It follows you. It follows you. It follows you. It's everything, the infection cycle, what else? Yeah, I mean, it will come back, it comes back. So yeah, they set you up for success. I think I texted you not too long ago and I said, honestly, I feel like if I didn't have that a little bit of experience behind me, it would be a little bit more tough.
Because how are the other students in the nursing?
So some of them are... Never. They're not even a CNA, not an MA.
So completely new.
Completely new.
That's
yes.
why I wanted to do this.
I wanted to
first.
dip
I didn't want to
in.
be
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in there not knowing what I was doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Even as far as blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, I can't tell you. It's incredible how much you don't even realize how much you've learned in this program until you're out into a nursing field, or even out working. It's incredible how much you've learned. So take it in, take notes, and keep everything. Even Professor Ryan's class, her class has been helpful. Her class, Professor Perez, as far as the dosage and calculations, like everything that they're teaching you, keep track of it, because if you do nursing, or I don't know if any other field, or LPN, it's going to follow you. It comes back. It does, for sure. Yeah. But I tell you, I'm so grateful that I did it. So it's fantastic. So some of the nurses that have had no experience with anything in the health field, I mean, they're completely like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. So I recommend, if you're going to do a nursing, I mean, you guys are all set, but if you know anyone, or be a CNA, be an MA before you go into it, because it's going to be like info overload when you get in there. So.
And is it different? How is your anxiety? How is it from now, the beginning of this, to when you were in the first month, as they are in
night
medical
and day, night and day. And simulation, I'm not even nervous about the simulation. And remember how crazy I used to get so scared.
God.
Oh my god!
Oh my God!
Oh, it's unbelievable. And now I look back on it, and I'm like, it really isn't that bad. And when you leave, you're like, that wasn't even that hard. Like, it was fine. You know what you're doing. It's just that. It's just the component of someone watching you in the other room. Yeah, it's nerve wracking. Have you done simulation yet, or almost?
Yes, but ours is the first one. I remember in intro, but we're going to do a little different this year.
Okay.
We're going to do just the communication part instead of doing both the. Remember, they had to go and do the electronic records. You had to have computers.
We had to do.
Oh, I was like,
I know.
I separated that.
okay, good.
You did.
Okay, I mean, I still did good, but.
Yeah, I know the nerves, but
Can I type?
don't overthink it. I'm like the queen of overthinking, and she'll attest to it, because you're going to be fine. You know what you need to know when you go in there. You'll be fine.
Right.
Yes.
I'm always telling her, like, it's her and another girl is on this side, and they're always so nervous, and they're like, oh my god, test, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, we've learned this, we reviewed it,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. Then they get their test back, and they get A's. And I'm like,
Right.
I told you
Right.
you were going to do
So,
good.
I know. I would be that girl in the corner, scared. I was going to take Pepto because I'm so nervous. I was. I'll admit it. But once you're done and you get out, you're like, oh, that was like nothing. We knew, we were prepared. And open lab, go to open lab.
Oh, I take advantage of as many as I can.
Oh yes, it's so helpful, and they're great. Who is Lisa Geronimo still there?
Yes.
Isn't she
I love
great?
her.
So sweet.
I love
I
her.
love her.
Does anybody have any questions for?
God, she answered everything.
What are some of the
Yeah.
other procedures that you did? I remember always being impressed by what you got to do so she went to the surgery for her for her
Specialty.
specialty. She went to
The colorectal
right,
surgeons.
and you did some.
Oh yeah, so that surgery that I observed, when they took the sigmoid colon out. Now I was at Bay State Medical Center in Springfield, and the surgeon, super super wonderful guy. I'm actually still friends with him. He's amazing, great mentor, and he said, just don't mind the nurses when you're in there, because that OR in there is so packed and there's so many people. So I'm kind of like doing this and getting out of their way, and the nurse went over with a bucket to get the sigmoid colon. And I'm like looking, and she came over, and she goes, do you want to hold it or touch it? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it doesn't bite. You can pick it up. I picked it up, and it was amazing. It was so amazing.
Isn't that great?
Wonderful
She
experience.
texted me. She was so
I
excited.
love
Yeah,
it.
I held a sigmoid colon. It was amazing. I loved
So
it.
cool.
Lisa
Yeah.
always wanted to know more, do more. When she went to her externship, first one, she was just bored. I would go see her, come out and visit, and she'd say, I'm bored.
Yeah.
It was never, she always wanted more excitement, wanted to do. So if you're that type of person that wants to do more and see this, it's up to you to be an
Yes.
advocate for yourself. And that
Yes.
means that you don't push yourself on people, but you let them know that you would like to learn more. You love to see, you would love to experience.
And
I
they
believe
like
that's
that.
what got you hired from the summer job
Absolutely.
and getting the externships. and
Yep.
things.
Because it
Everything-
makes your resume look so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody who's quiet would never get that far, and she got that way just because she let them know, and she
Yeah.
was always proactive
I went
for
when I went
herself.
to the colorectal surgery. I was, those are big time surgeons, and I went up to the surgeon and said, I'm really impressed by how you are with patients, and I'd love to observe one of your surgeries. He said, sure, pick one. If you show, if you show that you're really eager,
Right.
and he even said, I can see it in your eyes, you're hungry to learn more, and that's going to make you go far. And it's true. Even in primary care, I was bored. I was with a PA. He was fantastic. And I think it was the summertime too. It wasn't super busy in that particular site. Other sites are going to be busy. But I was always the one to say, oh, this person has something really neat. And I would say, oh, do you mind if I go in and look and I observe? One patient had staples in their head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do you mind if I help? He said, sure, come on, glove up. I'm like, okay.
It's okay.
So, it was great, ear lavage, using something simple as an ear lavage. I was like, can I go in and see? Can I watch? Doctors needed extra MAs. I'm like, I'll go help. I went to OB to help. And the labs, you do blood draws, and don't freak out over that either. You'll be okay. I did too. You're going to be fine. It's so much fun. Remember how I was so nervous. And once the first time I did it, I'm like, I got
That was me too.
I was so excited. When I saw blood, I was like, oh my God, I got blood. And I loved it. It was amazing. Such a great experience. I loved it. And that's another wonderful thing to put on your resume.
Right.
You worked in a lab and you did blood draws. Like, that's amazing. And I don't know if nursing does that here. Do they do blood draws here?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if that's even on there. I don't know. But, even IVs. Like, we don't learn IVs in the nursing program. Did you know that? No.
That's interesting.
Very surprised at that.
Right? Don't nurses do it?
So, we just found out the other day that you will not be learning IVs. And I was kind of shocked because in our little lab kits, there's IV stuff and
Right.
medications. They said you will learn that on the job.
Oh wow.
So, news to
Do
me.
you do externships in the nursing program too?
Yes, I just started my first rotation last week. Not last, what's today? Tuesday. I'm so busy and crazy. Tuesday I started. But it was just orientation, but you start off at long-term care. So I just started at a long-term care facility in Wilbraham. So I did get to meet some of the residents. We are starting off shadowing the CNAs and kind of seeing they're the heart of the plate. They work. Those CNAs work. So we're starting off with them again, to see the basics and see how this whole thing is run, and what the nurse's role is and what the CNA role is, and they really do work. They work a lot, so they deserve a lot of credit. So we're starting off with that, and it's great. We're going to meet lots of people and see lots of different things. Actually, my first day I saw an ulcer, which was amazing to see.
That's cool.
Wasn't a lining of the stomach.
No, bed sore ulcer. It was bed sore.
Oh.
It was that kind of ulcer.
Gotcha.
But it's amazing the stuff you see. So any advice I could give you is just be an advocate for yourself out there, and let whatever site you're at, let them know that you're eager to learn. So give me all the information you can, and then you'll go far.